First with breaking news. First with new information. Plus, your first alert forecast. 19 News starts now.
Exchange of words turned into a deadly shooting at an Akron bar. The place was packed with people. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian Duffy.
And I'm Nicole Versansky. Sadly, a victim died. An innocent bystander ended up being rushed to the hospital, hit by stray bullets.
Harry Boomer working this story for us. He's outside the bar, what locals call the Valley. Harry has our story.
All right, guys, things are quiet now outside the noisy Oyster Bar in Portage Path. The victim has been identified as Eric Schaefer, a 31-year-old male from Cuyahoga Falls. According to the Summit County Medical Examiner, the cause of death is multiple gunshot wounds to his body. The manner of death is homicide.
Hi, the Noisy Oyster in the Valley. There was just a shooting. 2 people are hurt.
Okay, hold on. Are they shot though, ma'am?
Yes, they're bleeding.
This bar patron is traumatized by the shooting that left 1 man dead and another injured. Akron police say around 8:15 last night, multiple shots rang out inside the crowded bar.
Did you get a description of the male?
He was wearing a red hoodie. That's all I saw.
Red hoodie, braids.
Braids, red hoodie.
White, black, Asian male?
Red shoes.
Black
male?
with cornrows.
Akron police say that description fits 28-year-old Larnell Neely Jr.
And this was a verbal altercation, maybe some words that were exchanged. As a suspect was leaving the bar, one of the victims is seen pushing the suspect. The suspect then turned around and fired multiple shots, and we believe that the second victim was just really caught in the crossfire and had nothing to do with the initial altercation.
Neely ran off into a nearby neighborhood. Police used drones and dogs in an attempt to track him down. As he ran, he shed some of his clothes, hoping not to be identified. This is video from Akron Police body cam.
He went through there towards the side streets, Barcelona over there by San Road.
Yeah.
5'11", 165 pounds, 25 to 30, black male, cornrows, all red.
Around 11:20 last night, Neely went to the Summit County Jail and surrendered. He was turned over to Akron Police.
Someone who's capable of taking someone's life over something so senseless, getting that person off of the streets of Akron is important to us, and we're thankful that we're able to do that.
Larnell Neely has been charged with murder and felonious assault. Our condolences to the family of Eric Schaefer. The second man believed to be the bystander is 35. He was shot in both of his legs. His injuries were not life-threatening. At least one guy's off the street, the one accused of murder. In Akron, I'm Harry Boomer, 19 News.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
Rain and drizzle continue to blanket all of Northeast Ohio pretty much at this point. We are still watching for more rain to filter in here over the next few hours, but that is going to be the trend. We've started to see a few more of these showers drifting east of the 77 corridor, and that is going to be the trend for us tonight. We've got a lot of moisture basically piled off to our southwest, and that's eventually working its way our direction as we're kind of just waiting on this next system to pass through. So you'll notice winds turning more so out of the northwest. That'll source some much colder air across our area as we head into the rest of this evening. And if you do have plans out and about, you will want to keep the rain gear with you because we are likely talking several hours of rain still ahead of us. And again, a couple pockets of heavier rainfall will be possible, kind of embedded within this bigger system that will impact our area through tonight. So unfortunately, even as you get closer to 10, 11 o'clock tonight, we're still dealing with a lot of that rain. It really doesn't start to clear out from west to east until the pre-dawn hours of your Wednesday. So as we get closer to sunrise, we should start to see things improving. But again, it's going to take a little bit of time to do that, and we could have some isolated flooding concerns as a result of some of this rainfall moving through. We'll talk about how much is forecast to move in coming up in just a few minutes.
Across Ohio, voters are heading to the polls for the midterm primaries and deciding some big local issues as well. Catherine Huntley is live for us with how turnout is looking right now. Catherine.
Current turnout in Cuyahoga County right now is around 16%. Now that's on pace to challenge the numbers from 4 years ago. But here in Strongsville, they've already eclipsed those numbers from 4 years ago. More than 26% of voters, registered voters, have cast their ballots. A big reason, the school bond that's on the ballot today. A full parking lot of people in Strongsville today, many people eager to cast their ballots. Voters were ready to vote for their statewide and local officials in their chosen party during the primary. They were also weighing in on a $147 million school bond. If passed, this would add $120 in taxes for each $100,000 in home value each year. According to the Strongsville District, the bond would build 3 new schools and renovate 2 others. Most voters we spoke to were in favor, while others wanted the district to find the money elsewhere.
I actually live directly behind one of the affected schools. I don't have children, but it is really important to me to make sure that the kids in Strongsville get the education that they deserve.
I think our schools need help, and I understand the importance of securing funding for schools. But I also believe that the money does exist, and there should be creative ways in finding that money rather than always taxing the people.
Now today, of course, is also deciding the Democrats and Republicans that will go head-to-head in November. Now some big races coming up, including governor and state senator. However, only today just Republicans have a contested ballot, and Democratic state senators have one too. But if you still want to exercise your right to vote, you still have some time. Polls close around Ohio at 7:30 this evening. For now, live in Strongsville, Catherine Huntley, 19 News.
A new Parma school levy? Well, it's on the ballot, but this time retirees wouldn't have to pay a dime. Ahead, we'll show you who would and what's at stake for the kids in Parma.
The head softball coach at Mentor High School is out on leave during an internal investigation. A Mentor Public Schools official said their investigation into Coach Joe Bondra began after an anonymous concern was raised. No other details have been released. The official did add, though, the Mentor Police Department is not involved in this investigation. An interim coach is going to step in as this investigation plays out.
Now your 19 First Alert traffic update.
You're taking a live look at 480 over by Lee Road because of a crash that's impacting drivers heading west just after Broadway Avenue. Now, the stop and go traffic isn't just on the westbound lanes, even though that's where that crash is. You can see that we also have rush hour traffic filling up the freeway and drivers moving much more slowly because of those rain conditions here. But now you can see that backup that's really just impacting westbound drivers over around Lee Road. Again, that crash isn't until 480 passes Broadway Avenue. But drivers are fully stopped on the brakes for a couple moments at a time, and the speeds aren't exactly much better. We have drivers going just around 5 miles per hour for a few miles, all the way back to where 480 is getting fed in from 271 north and south. But drivers who are heading north on 271 and then west onto 480 from the Northfield area are getting stuck in this headache on the highway. So if you have a loved one who would typically head west on 480 at this hour from 271 past Lee Road and then probably just to the Granger Road area, they're going to be at least 20 minutes late.
A couple of new developments in the Eliza Sherman murder case here in the city of Cleveland.
2 separate court filings, and one of them is asking the murder case to be dismissed. Dan DeRose is here to walk us through both of these filings.
Yeah, I spoke with our defense analyst on both of these motions today, and in her words, this is already a complicated case, getting even more so. Of course, we're talking about Gregory Moore. He was representing Eliza Sherman in a divorce trial case. He was her attorney. She gets lured downtown by his text messages, according to court records, and she's murdered. Let's talk first of all about the civil lawsuit. The family is already, and this is odd, they're suing Gregory Moore and anybody associated with his law firm before there's even a conviction or an acquittal in the murder case. But this is what's interesting. The attorney that brought that case is an attorney by the name of Robert Glickman. He is working on behalf of the Eliza Sherman family. Well, wait a second. Joseph Stafford told the court, hey, how is this possible? He's being sued as well, but he's asked the judge for a notice of unethical conduct. That's because Robert Glickman represented Gregory Moore when he was making false bomb threats to the courthouse because he wasn't ready for trial. So he goes on to say, in essence, Mr. Glickman is suing his former client on behalf of his new client. That is a major conflict of interest. He's asking for Glickman to be disbarred and charged. Glickman, by the way, just filed yesterday to take himself off that case. All right, that's the first mess. Here's the second mess, and why the attorneys for Gregory Moore are asking for this whole case to be thrown out. Part of this case goes obviously all the way back to 2016 when Gregory Moore allegedly used his phone to get Aliza Sherman to come down to his office on a Sunday when downtown was desolate. That is the state saying he was setting her up. He went through charges back in 2016 that he lied to investigators. He's already served 6 months on telecommunications fraud. But his attorney is saying, now, wait a second. You can't charge my client again with this. That's something from 2016. It's called, according to our analyst, that this is, it's not giving him due process and that it's prejudice because this is 10 years later on this charge. And then they claim the main suspect in this case has already died. Gregory Moore's attorney is claiming the main suspect, who was Sanford Sherman, that was Aliza Sherman's soon-to-be ex-husband. That was the case she was going through. So they're trying to tell the judge this whole case needs to be thrown out because they're pinning it on our client because their other suspect has already passed away. It is a mess, but according to our defense analysts, this is what you have to do to try and get the case thrown out as a defense attorney for Gregory Moore.
All right, we're learning more here now. In Washington, a shooting near the White House on Monday has police wondering if it was another attempt on the president's life.
Nicole Skanga reports on the investigation after a gunman opened fire on Secret Service personnel in broad daylight.
Go, 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 go! The White House briefly went under lockdown after a suspect allegedly shot at Secret Service just 4 blocks away. Here by the Washington Monument, the Secret Service said officers spotted a gun and tried to stop a man who allegedly fled and fired in the direction of the Secret Service.
Not long before this shooting occurred, the vice president's motorcade did transit through this area.
Officers returned fire, hitting the suspect. A young bystander also was struck in the crossfire.
It's a juvenile. Did not sustain any life-threatening injuries, but he's also receiving treatment at the hospital.
The shooting happened just 9 days after an alleged assassination attempt at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. But Secret Service said in a statement there's currently no known nexus between the incident and the White House.
We're patrolling this area and every site we do 24/7 hardcore. Whether or not it was directed to the president or not, I don't know, but we will find out.
The suspect has not yet been publicly identified, but as investigators search for a possible motive, federal law enforcement sources tell CBS News we could see charges as soon as today, including weapons violations and assault against a federal law enforcement officer. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, Washington.
All right, how are we doing at the pump? Not good, not at all. The national average for gas, $4.48 a gallon. 40 cents below Northeast Ohio's average cost of $4.88 a gallon. So we looked around for where the cheapest gas is, as we're going to continue to do this for you until these prices go back down. It's $4.79 at the Sheetz in Avon on Nagel, $4.49 at the Gulf, that's on Water Street in Kent, and $4.29 at the BP in Cleveland on Euclid Avenue.
Americans nationwide are celebrating Mexican heritage on this Cinco de Mayo with food, festivals, and of course, margaritas. The day was especially meaningful for the iconic Mexican restaurant Casa Vega in Los Angeles. Local leaders designated the area around the establishment as Vega Square, today honoring Ray Vega, who founded this eatery almost 70 years ago. The restaurant, famously featured in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, has been hosting a Cinco de Mayo fiesta for days, including live mariachi bands.
This is about Latino families, small businesses, and the people who have built LA quietly, day by day, into the city that it has become.
While it is known as a big day for drinking, Cinco de Mayo actually commemorates the 1862 battle where Mexico's army defeated a much larger French force in the town of Puebla.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast, certified most accurate since 2004.
Well, we probably need a little more rain, is what everybody around here is thinking, and we've got a First Alert on some more rain and showers into tonight.
19 First Alert meteorologist Erica Page is here with that, and then cold air, cold temperatures moving in after that. Cold and rainy.
Yeah, not the best combination, especially for early May. Let's kind of walk you through where things are headed this evening, because if you take that live look from our forefront field camera out in Avon, you can certainly see the rain coming down at a pretty decent clip. That is going to continue for us over the next several hours. So this is all courtesy of a bigger system that's moving through. It's going to give us a widespread rain opportunity tonight, and you may have pockets of lighter rain, you may have pockets of heavier rain. Wherever some of those heavier downpours are moving through, you're going to get some of these higher rainfall totals to essentially come together. And we will have at least some isolated flooding that may be possible before the event is done. Now, the good news for us is it clears out very quickly headed into the morning hours of tomorrow. So it's a very minimal rain opportunity, not only for Wednesday, but Thursday as well. And then our next system will come through on Friday. And more specifically, we're talking about Friday evening. So keep that in mind for any evening plans that you might have. Rain tracker, we're going to take this through 9 o'clock on Thursday. You'll notice a lot of spots seeing rainfall totals that will be close to an inch, if not an inch and a half. And wherever you get some of those inch and a half totals, that's where I'm more so concerned of that isolated flooding risk. And a lot of it has to do with just how much moisture is coming in from our southwest. It's just going to continue to feed this rain chance here for the next several hours. We've already started to see some rain, some heavier pockets certainly embedded. It's not going to be heavy rain at all times, but you'll see the trend as we kind of go through the rest of this evening is that, yeah, we could have some decent steady rainfall here before this system slowly starts to depart off to the east. And as we said, it will leave us much cooler as we get into the middle part of the work week. The question is, how much warmer can we get by Mother's Day weekend?
Now to your top 4 at 4, a 19-year-old is accused of intentionally hitting a person with his car. At the Brookside Reservation, Metro Parks police say Timothy Rubel hit the victim after a heated argument. That victim was rushed to the hospital. The person's name has not been released, but we do know this was a referee for a flag football game in the Metro Parks. Rubel was not playing in that game. He is being held on a $30,000 bond.
A gunman shot and killed a man at the Noisy Oyster Pub in Akron. The victim is 31-year-old Eric Schaefer of Cuyahoga Falls. Second person, a 35-year-old man, was shot in both legs, is being treated at the hospital. Akron police said the suspect, that man, Larnell Neely Jr., took off after the shooting. He's now charged with murder and felony assault. He's being held at the Summit County Jail.
A Cleveland man will spend 10 to 15 years in prison for brutally attacking a security guard. Nathaniel Seawright pleaded guilty to attempted murder and other charges. Last September, Seawright attacked the security guard when he tried to intervene in an argument at an apartment complex on Prospect. The 34-year-old has a critical brain injury and now must have 24-hour care.
Pentagon leaders claim the break in the war between the U.S. and Iran is still in place, even after Iran fired missiles at U.S. and foreign ships on Monday. American forces responded, sinking 6 Iranian fast boats. And Project Freedom, as it's now called, looks to be creating a secure zone in the Strait of Hormuz, with American destroyers on station, supported by fighter jets. Well, here's a story that's just about as low-key as it gets.
And people can't stop watching it. So this is a live stream out of Sweden called The Great Moose Migration. More than 500,000 viewers tune in just to watch animals make their annual spring trek across the river. No commentary, no drama, just nature doing its thing at its own place.
I think we people really need something else to take focus on and maybe to relax and see that there is hope in the world. I mean, the moose still walk the same path they've done for thousands of years.
Producers say it's a simple but powerful reminder that even in a hectic world, some rhythms never change. And they say it's Moosey TV.
Very good. That's good. Breaking at this hour, Texas police say a man shot and killed 2 people at a shopping mall. This is north of Dallas. 3 others were shot. Shooting happened in an area known as Koreatown in Carrollton. Police say it was not a random act. The victims knew their attacker. Suspect ran away, but was later arrested.
Also breaking, a U.S. Army facility in Natick, Massachusetts was under a shelter-in-place order this afternoon. Now, officials haven't said what caused that order to go into place. You can see a heavy police presence, though. This was lifted, shelter-in-place was lifted shortly after. Personnel were told to resume normal operations on base, however, just to stay in the facility and away from the gate until further notice.
All right, well, it is just about time, about 2.5 hours, right? The Cavs will need to be on their game to get the Detroit Pistons tonight in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals.
JB Bickerstaff's team.
That's right.
Yeah, and because quick turnaround, too. Both teams just wrapped up their last series on Sunday, but Ashley Holder had time to get there. She's live now in Detroit. Hi, Ashley.
Hi guys, listen, fatigue is going to play a factor tonight, not just physical fatigue, but also mental fatigue. Detroit is the top team in the East, and like most good teams, they are pretty good at home. Really tough to play. They are 31-9 this season, but the Orlando Magic were able to get 2 games here in the playoffs, so Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs should feel fairly confident. Mitchell averages 26 points a game against Detroit for his career, but he was even better this season. In 2 games against the Pistons, he scored 35 and 30. He said today the Toronto series was pretty wide open, almost like an AAU tournament, but Detroit is a much tougher team on defense.
Detroit is different. They're forcing turnovers through, obviously they have Asar, right, who's picking you up full, but they're doing it differently. They're playing harder. They're trying to bully you through screens. They'll blitz you. They'll be in the gaps, right? So I think it's a little bit different, but at the end of the day, it's the same. They're both top 5 defensively, so it's going to be a physical series.
I mean, we've got individual talents who are willing to take on challenges. We have guys who play with such toughness and grit and a level of competition that they don't want to fold at any moment. And then, the schemes are there to protect them, and the communication is elite. So we've got so many guys that want to do it. And I think that's the difference, is how many guys can you put on the floor that are committed to really defending the way you want to defend to win playoff basketball games.
The last time that these 2 teams met in the playoffs was back in 2016. The Cavs swept them 4 straight, but I have a feeling that this one is going to go a lot longer. Leah Doherty is also here with me. We'll hear from her at 5 o'clock. But for now, live in Detroit, Ashley Holder, 19 News.
I hope we see the Cavs that we saw in the last quarter, right, of Game 7.
Yeah, that
they
last
came
half, right?
alive, right? Yes. That's the team I want to see.
That's who we all want to see. This is going to be fun. They've got great players. Detroit's great. Cade Cunningham is a great player. And we get to watch JB Bickerstaff yell at the officials for the entire game. So that's always fun, too.